2022, the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park, working together with the New York City Parks Department, is dedicated to the improvement and conservation of Van Cortlandt Park. One of the ways they do this is through volunteerism. And this weekend, the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park are beginning their fall volunteer season in union with Climate Week NYC. Now, Executive Director Christina Taylor is here now to give us all the details on their upcoming fall restoration volunteer kickoff. And we welcome Christina to the show. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So you have this great fall weekend,
Yes.
and it's fall kickoff weekend for the volunteers. Share with us about this whole volunteer campaign.
Okay. So the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park, we're a very small nonprofit with a staff of 3. Currently we have 4 seasonally. And we really count on our volunteers to get work done in the park. Last year we had about 1,600 volunteers that came out. Most of them were one-shot volunteers, but we appreciate all the help that we get. And we work on forest and trail restoration projects. So without our volunteers, we really wouldn't be able to accomplish what we accomplish. So each season, for the spring and the fall, are busy volunteer seasons. We do a kickoff event where we're hoping to have at least 100 volunteers out in the park that day at 3 different locations throughout the park, and volunteers will be helping us remove non-native invasive plants and planting native trees and shrubs in the park.
So you're searching all over for volunteers, I take it?
Yeah, we want volunteers. We want as many people to come out on that day as we can get, and then we're hoping that once they come out and volunteer with us once, they'll kind of get hooked and come back again.
So as we talk about the weekend, obviously it's a big weekend for you guys. Talk about some of the other things that are going on this weekend.
Well, our big thing this weekend is the kickoff event. So we have 3 different meeting locations, and you can find all that information out on our website. And from 10 to 1, volunteers can come out and join us and be prepared to get dirty and lend a hand to the park.
Any special requirements at all?
Being willing to get dirty. There's a chance of rain, so being able to work out in the rain.
Okay.
We work rain or shine unless it's torrential downpours. And just be able to have fun working out in the park.
Share with us about working out in the park, because obviously you're out there and you've got some people who are out there working with you. From your experiences, describe just the whole experience of working in the park.
For a lot of the people that come for us, it's their first time doing such work, and they don't really know what to expect. But once they get into it, they really do enjoy it. It's hard work, it's physical labor, but it's a lot of fun, and the groups that we get and the people that we get to volunteer are just wonderful people. So it really does end up being a really fun experience.
And we're taking a look at some pictures right here, right behind it. We'll see. So share with us a little bit about what we're watching.
So that is our trails, some of the members of our trails crew, and that's definitely our hardcore volunteers. They come out once a month and do really physically demanding projects. This was actually taken early September, right after we had those 2 hurricanes, Irene and Lee, come through, and it caused a lot of damage on the Cascalier Trail in the park. So they were out there. We went out about a week later, and there was still standing water on the trail. So they went out and dug drainage ditches and really helped to drain out that trail and make it passable for people. And
what we're seeing here is?
That's one of our tree planting events. So that actually was taken at last year's fall kickoff. So when you come out and volunteer with us, not only will you get a chance to remove non-native invasive plants, but you also get a chance to plant trees. And with our volunteers, we usually plant about 2,000 trees a year.
2,000?
Yep, throughout the park.
Wow. How intense is this tree planting? Because we see a lot of trees go up, and we know that there are a lot of trees out there. How intense is it to really get that tree in there?
It's a lot of fun for people. I mean, it's something that they can actually come back and see. And we've had a pretty high success rate with our trees that we plant in the park. Probably about 90% of those trees that we plant do survive. So if you plant a tree, you can come back as long as you can find in the forest where that tree is and actually see your tree grow over the years. And I've been with the Friends for 10 years, and it's a lot of fun to see a tree that you planted, it's like 2 or 3 feet tall when you planted it, to be, 12 feet tall now.
Right. So you got a 2-foot tree that actually blossoms out into a 12-foot tree. You could be a part of this whole tree planting experience, and then a whole lot more at this fall volunteer kickoff. It's taking place this weekend, and you guys are encouraging anybody and everybody to come on out.
Anyone who's willing and able to come on out and just see what it's like. And if you don't, it's not for you, that's fine, but give it a shot, because I think you'll like it.
You also have some other things going on over at the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park. Why don't you share a little bit about it?
Oh, yeah, Friends do a lot of different things. We do also volunteer programs, but we'd also do a lot of environmental education programs. So if you have a school group that wants to come come out and do a tour of the park or learn about the environment, we do activities like that. We do a lot of community programs. Next month we're actually doing a Halloween event, which used to be really popular in Van Cortlandt Park, and we haven't done one in the last couple of years, but we're going to bring Halloween back to Van Cortlandt. So the Ghoul Pool, we're calling it this year, is on October 29th, so that's something people should look out for. But we do a lot of events for the general public, and we just want to get people into the park and to really appreciate all the beauty that Van Cortlandt Park has to offer.
I think about former Vice President Al Gore, and he's very much about nature and climate and worried about, global warming and things like that. Are you finding that more and more people are becoming more environmentally conscious these days?
I hope so. We have found that our increase in volunteer numbers have really grown over the years. In the last couple of years, they've quadrupled. We used to only get about 400 volunteers a year, and we're up to about 1,600 now. So I'm not quite sure if that's because people are taking more of an interest in the environment or people are just more interested in volunteering. I mean, whichever it is, I like it. Keep on coming out to the park. But definitely, I think people are more aware of the environment and how important it is to preserve it. And we're lucky here in the Bronx. We have more parkland than any other borough, but we need to take care of that parkland.
To you, what makes the park so distinct?
Van Cortlandt Park? Van Cortlandt Park, it's a real natural park. It's not man-made or landscaped park once you get into the forest. Van Cortlandt's 1,146 acres, and about half of that is forested areas. And there's still, I just did a hike this Saturday, and I pointed out to the people, we got to one point where you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear any traffic.
Right.
And there still are parts in Van Cortlandt Park that you can do that. You can completely escape the city, and that's valuable, I think.
I remember running track and had to run through the little track path, and somewhere out there you felt like you were in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly, yeah,
and
it's amazing.
Really, you were like looking for help because I was kind of slow on my track run. It's a beautiful park, but then I think sometimes it's kind of misgiving because a lot of people don't know about how deep the forestry is.
Yeah, a lot of people are not willing to go deep into the woods, and I try to promote it, and that's one thing we're trying to do with our Trails Initiative. We're trying to make the trails more user-friendly, more appealing to people, to really get people out there and to realize that Van Cortlandt Park can truly be a hiking destination in New York City. You don't have to travel out of the city to go hiking. You can do it right here.
Okay, pretty interesting. So, Christina, give people the information so that if they want to find out more about this.
They can visit our website, vancortlandt.org, or give us a phone call at 718-601-1553 if they want to come out on the 24th, or if they want to find out about any of our other volunteer or educational programs.
Talk a little bit before we leave about the Trails Restoration Crew, and then we'll leave on that note.
Yeah, the Trails Restoration Crew, we're wrapping up for this season, but for next year, we're really looking for more people who are willing to come out on a once a month basis, and it's an opportunity to really learn trail building skills from experts. We work with the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, so they bring out their experts, and if you want to really learn some skills that can be applied to various careers, it's a good opportunity.
All right, so many things to take advantage of, and we invite you to be a part of it. And as we said, it's taking place this weekend. You can be a volunteer. You can find out all the information that you need to find out. And if you contact Christina or the Friends of Van Cortlandt Park, I'm sure they will be gladly appreciative. And thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Good to have you.